Hello everyone! This is the June bullet journal setup and the theme is the beach, which to me, June's associated with summer and vacation, so I feel like the beach fits the vibe of relaxing and having fun pretty well. For the cover, I started out with an arch window type shape overlooking the beach and perfectly clear blue sky. The ocean isn't super detailed, just some wavy lines. You can also see a woman in a flowy summer dress walking and taking in the beautiful scene in front of her. She's also wearing a floppy straw hat to protect her face from the sun, and they also give such a vacation feel. I debated whether to hide her hands in front so I don't have to draw it or actually draw her hands, and I went with drawing the hands behind her, but it's super not detailed and probably wouldn't make too much sense if you look closer. The outside of the frame felt empty, so I added these tropical looking leaves to add more elements to the cover. I only drew 3 types of leaves and I'll be using what I draw here for most of the setup, so they turned out to be very crucial and helpful. Then for the coloring, I made the lines of the waves a cream color and dropped in different shades of blues as the ocean. The sand is the same cream color and the sky is just the lightest blue. The woman is a bit tanned and I decided to give her a yellow dress because it's such a fun color for vacation and it's also contrasts well with blue and green on the page. I used the Procreate brush pen with less opacity, so the dress material looks very light and flowy. For the leaves, I first used only one color, but they looked plain and not leaves-like, so I added light green to the edge of this long leaf and a yellow to this shorter leaf. Then I used the smudge tool to mix the colors to get a transition, since leaves don't just go from one color to another. Well, most of them. For the third one, I used light green to draw the stems in the middle of the individual leaves. Then I duplicated the leaves and rearranged them so the outer part looks more filled. I'm also adding clouds, which I put some white paint and used the smudge tool to drag the white out and drag the blues in for the transparent effect of the clouds. I also smudged the color in a circular style so that there are no hard edges and the clouds look more fluffy and more like a typical cloud shape. I wrote June in green and cursive, then I pasted the finished cover to the cover of my bullet journal and to a page in the book. For my calendar, each cell is 5 boxes in width and 6 boxes in height. This left a bunch of space for decorations at the top and the bottom, which I drew rectangles to frame so we stay in our style for the month, and that is minimal and somewhat abstract. So I drew the floppy straw hat again because it helps portray the feel of relaxation that I wanted my page or my pages to feel like this month. Blue is such a calm color, but this is not just any beach or ocean, it's one where you'd vacation at. So yeah, the hat is in the corner, like the woman took it off and set it there. The rectangles have the ocean, but I'm shifting from light blue to really dark blue instead of alternating the same shade of blue like I did in my cover page. I added lighter lines to make it look like there are a lot of waves. I also drew a yellow bow to make the hat look a little cuter and some darker lines of like the same color to get the straw texture, which is the material the hat is made out of. I wrote the June header in the cream color. And also continued the color into the smaller boxes since there aren't enough days in June for the entire table. I pasted the elements into GoodNotes separately and centered each one into the frame. It did take a while to adjust the placement and the size so that it fits into the lines perfectly, which I definitely gave up and just went with what looks like fitting in the line. But turned out pretty good, I think. And once I wrote in the dates, I was done. My mood tracker is basically like a picture you would see on Instagram of a beach on an island with a palm tree or coconut tree that has leaned over and someone has put a hanging chair there. The straight horizontal lines on the top are for the sky and the wavy lines are the ocean. I wanted to use lines to emphasize the difference because my mood colors will be static, so at the end it might be hard to tell what I was trying to go for in terms of the scene if I didn't have a way to distinguish between the sky and the ocean. The background is basically abstract and we have a centerpiece. I drew the tree and the chair with brown Procreate pen so it looks a lot softer, and then for the chair I also put the brush pen with a lower opacity to fill the seat in since you can't just sit on a few strings. There's got to be some material there, but I didn't want it to be solid either. The tree is a lighter brown color, and when I'm filling in the green for the leaves, I wasn't trying to stay in lines. I wanted there to be more green and for the tree to look fuller or more lush, so I used the leaves I drew as a guide, but there are colors outside. This is also what I meant by some messy drawings amongst very clear lines. I made sure there's enough space for all of the days in June and pasted the result into GoodNotes. For the mood, it is of course themed related. The moods are clear sky, calm ocean, perfect breeze for a great day, some clouds but great beach condition for a okay day, cloud and somewhat chilly for a neutral day, could rain any second and big waves for like a kind of bad day, and for a really bad day, it's a rainstorm and staying inside type of day. I also somewhat filled in here to see how I was going to complete the page. My habit got a bit of a makeover, I think. The notion is still the same, where I'm filling in some boxes, but I did like a mid-year reflection of how I'm doing with the goals I set for myself in the beginning of the year, and if there were other goals I wanted to accomplish by the end of the year. Then I evaluated if my habit tracker was helping me or not, and so the habits I'm tracking have increased to help with my goals. So, for example, one of my new goals is to be able to do a handstand with some help of the wall. I'll be realistic since I have a fear of going upside down, or more specifically, my hand giving way and my head crashing onto the floor, so I would feel great if I could do a solid handstand with some help. So to be able to accomplish that, I would do yoga and stretches and exercise to improve my core and shoulder strength. So these bars are like waves, and at the bottom I have a rectangle with the beach, or the sand and some water anyways. The header is like someone used sticks or driftwood to form those letters, and the whole thing is framed by the leaves we drew in the cover page. There are also habits that I don't need to do every day but would like to do every other day, and for those it only goes up to 15, and I won't be tracking exactly what date I did it, just the amount. Each of these bars will be a different color, so the end result should also be satisfying to see. So I'm moving this month, and that comes with a lot of things to remember to do, so I'm creating this page, so I'm putting the stress onto the page instead of keeping it in my head. I write it down and get to have the satisfaction of checking items that I've done off. It's super simple. I just have one big piece of decoration that also acts as the background for the title. It's like underwater-ish with some bubbles, and then there are also leaves on the side. That still leaves a lot of space for all of the things I'd potentially have to write down. The notes page is still super important though, and for this page, instead of a horizontal piece, I'm doing a vertical piece that has a scene going from grass to beach to ocean, then the sky, and some clouds. I also added some birds and grasses. I decided to put the sun on the outside and attach the notes title, which is cursive, to it. I drew different sized boxes because it looks less awkward than trying to fit the same size boxes in the same space, and allowed me to utilize all of the space on the page. The weeks are quite uniform for this month. I decided that I want the mini calendar to be the centerpiece, and the rest of the page is very simple. So the mini calendar will be in this square, and there are some leaves on the outside. For the first week, I used darker colors with wavy lines and added some bubbles, and it turned out better than I thought. I think using darker lines would help with the mini calendar showing better. Then for the days, I wrote them in cursive but with waves at the beginning and at the end. Other than the frames, everything else is simple, so you'll see it in the flip through in a bit. I used lighter colors for the second week, but wavy lines and the same frame. Instead of a faraway ocean color, this is closer. I copied the day's writing from the first week, but changed the color to a lighter blue to match the square and wrote in the days of the week. The scene for the third week is also more elaborate with grass and the sky with the sun. I also drew boxes for the days in this week. I went back to wavy lines for the fourth week and darker blue as well. For this page, I also put the same drawings from my mood page since I only have 5 days for this week and there were a lot of space. For the fifth week, I used arches and added green and neutral color to break from all of the blue I've been using. I also added the floppy hat for this week too. And that was all of the pages. Let me know which page is your favorite and whether you enjoyed this theme or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my Instagram for extra content. See ya!